Welcome back, everybody. It's year 5 of the Houma Teambuilder Dynasty, and we are still in conference play, entering week 6 against the Georgia Southern Eagles, back at home in Cypress Grove Stadium. We saw our best game on the ground last episode after a couple of adjustments to our playbook. Breda threw a couple of picks, has 5 on the year, 11 touchdowns through our first 4 games. But he's still been great, over 300 passing yards per game. And rushing-wise, Kikinukum goes from 2.2 to 2.5 average yards per carry. Still got to work on that, though, as we move through the rest of our year. But Trayon Bell had 190 yards and now is averaging about 97 per game through these first 4 weeks. He racked up 3 total touchdowns. Now tied for second place behind Cal Harper, who had a very quiet game against Georgia State. But I think the offensive line did take a step back compared to the week prior to that against Navy, but it was still better than our first couple weeks where we have, fully benched now Jermaine Houston, and our defense is still gotta be number 1 in the conference in multiple categories, and probably a top 25 defense, if I had to guess, in the entire nation. And I guess we'll see if that, stays true as we are approaching a key game in a couple of weeks against the South Carolina Gamecocks, who aren't ranked any longer, and they're actually 1-3, but they were ranked to open the year. Our only loss so far this year has come to Oregon, who is now up to number 13 in the country. So both teams come into this game with only 1 loss. They have 4 wins. We have 3. We've had a bye week. They have not. And their roster is pretty well-rounded, but it's not really that good at any one position. They only have an 84 overall as their highest player. That's their star cornerback, Elijah McDowell. And at quarterback, they've got a 96 speed true senior in Del Terrell. So a 2-dimensional player, hoping that we can just contain him amongst this defensive line. But at running back, I'm not really too concerned unless they start to play Bryce Baker over Dion McLeod, because Baker is a power back who happens to also have 95 acceleration, 94 speed, just has that big playability that I don't think McLeod does have as a 90 speed elusive running back. And at receiver, they only have 2, dangerous weapons here. They've got Carmelo Mays, their redshirt senior, and then Thaddeus Pierce, both guys with 94 speed. Nobody else has anywhere close to that. And they go from a 77 overall with a 11-point drop to their third receiver in Avery Zambrano. So offensively, there are some spots of weakness here. Their offensive line is solid except at center, but they have some solid depth at guard, which might be able to replace that if they do that in their depth chart. There are no standout defensive linemen in this unit, and there aren't really any standout players at all, I think, on this entire defensive side. Despite it being an 84 overall, again, nobody has higher than 84, and that's their number 1 corner, Elijah McDowell, who's got 96 acceleration, 88 speed, and then you kind of flip that for their number 2 guy in Kareem Boger. But after that, nobody else looks to be all too good, especially if Matt McCreary plays. I think he's going to be a guy that we can definitely target because he has low speed and low acceleration. He's just not a very good player. So this should be a team that we can overpower fairly easily at several positions, but they're 4-1. We don't want to underestimate them. But kickoff is underway here in week 6 as we have our first primetime game of the entire season. Return brought out by Enrique Chirador up to the home of 20-yard line, where the offense will start with the football, led, of course, by our true junior quarterback, Stephen Breda. He has not had the start that I was really hoping for in terms of throwing touchdowns and throwing less INTs, but he's still been really good as Kikinukum gets off to a great start with that 20-yard carry on the first play from scrimmage. Again, last week he had his best game of the season, at least average-wise, hoping to build off of that performance here against Georgia Southern. As Breda is hit as he threw it, and Young cannot bring it in. If we do end up blowing these guys out, then I will probably cut it down to only the most important drives, the highlight drives where teams scored or forced turnovers or things like that, and then move into our next game. But that is a nice pass right there by Breda. That will give us a first down at the Eagles' 40. And we're going to hand it off. Newcomb hits the edge. Good run right there. A gain of 11. Four-man rush. Breda has time to throw, and turning upfield, it's Trayon Bell, who again is our number 1 wide receiver. Comes in about 97 yards per game after dropping 190 in our last game, which pretty much doubled his production coming into this week. Only a couple minutes gone here in the first quarter, and Houma is already inside the 10. That's Reggie Reese up to the 5-yard line. And now it is essentially second and goal. Breda is going to sling it sidearm throw, and Reggie Reese finds the end zone on the opening drive. A methodical drive. Great running, great throwing. And we just did that in the blink of an eye. Eagles have it at their 28. With their opening drive starting here as that pass is hauled in. It is a gain of 3. So again, no real big impact players on either side of the football. I think their quarterback is probably their most dangerous player with that 96 speed. He will give this one to his tailback once again. That's going to be another first down. I guess the first down for the Eagles. It comes from McLeod. So it seems like he's getting most of the carries over Bryce Baker, at least initially, as his third run goes for only a yard, and he will stay in the game. Pressure comes, and the pass is hauled in by the tight end, I believe, which sets up 3rd and 3, just shy of midfield. Defense trying to force a punt, and McLeod is going down. Great tackle made by Maloney. A bad punt by the Eagles has Houma setting up shop at the 30-yard line. Breda slings it left side, wide open. That is Trayon Bell. Looks like a challenge comes in, and the call is going to stand. A gain of 18 yards on that completion. We come out in the pistol. Offensive line doing a great job giving Breda plenty of time. He ends up checking that ball down to Newcomb. Four-man rush, and pressure breaks through on this play. Nazir Smith picks up the first sack for the Eagles. And that one, I think, is on the offensive line. It's a loss of 7, or I guess a loss of 11, actually. Brings up 3rd down and long. And we're gonna convert inside the 40. That's Roland Hasty with that contested catch. And the drive continues. On the draw, it's Newcomb, a gain of 8. Delayed play action fake. Breda launches down the field, and it's complete to L.J. Young Jr. That'll put the Bobcats inside the 10 at the 6-yard line. 1st and goal again. We saw us score twice on the first 2 drives in our last game against Georgia State. And the same is true for this one. Cal Harper back in the end zone after a quiet game in Week 5. And Houma leads 13-0 PAT pending. Right up the middle, and that run is absolutely stuffed by Tevin Hippenhammer. Who finally has a starting role after being a depth piece for his first 3 or so seasons. He was part of that very first recruiting class, don't forget. One of our first ever verbal commits in this dynasty. 3rd down for the Eagles. They need the 30 or the 26-yard line. They're going to have that and more up to the fringe of the red zone. Pretty solid drive here. And plenty of time coming off the clock, too, trying to keep the ball out of the hands of the Bobcat offense. And now a little touch pass that picks up 4. Terrell with a deep drop back, then shuffles it. Broken tackle by Baker. And he picks up only a handful. Another third down comes up. Press coverage by Oki, top of the screen. They'll hand the ball off, and McLeod is denied the first down. And the field goal team comes out for the Eagles. From the 11-yard line, the kick is up and no good, wide to the right. And Houma takes over at the 20-yard line after the miss. So still a scoreless first half for the Eagles as Steven Breda scrambles for a 15-yard gain. They come out here in the pistol of Sean Gray in the backfield on this play. Now Trayon Bell comes in motion. Pressure's picked up well. Breda wants to bail the pockets and picks up 5. Pass caught in stride, turning upfield again. And Trayon Bell has his third catch up to 50 yards. The Bobcats have crossed midfield for the third time in as many possessions. Bell once again motions in close. Breda dumps it off. Great coverage. From the 42. Over the middle. And LJ Young is inches shy of the line to gain. This is likely 4-down territory if we don't convert. But we're not going to have to worry about it. Kiki Newcomb's got a huge hole to hit. Over 10 yards per carry so far. Got to give him the rock a bit more here in the first half as there's only 3 and change to go. We have only given him the ball 4 times. We are passing very well too. But I would like to see Newcomb get a few more first down touches here. Instead we go empty, and the pass is hauled in at the 8 by Cal Harper. It's first and goal for the Bobcats. Pretty lengthy drives for both teams here in the first half. It's going by pretty fast. Breda, incomplete at the 1. Last play before the warning. Breda fires a strike, and it's caught for a touchdown. LJ Young Jr. 3 different players for 3 different touchdowns. First it was Reggie Reese, then Cal Harper, and now LJ Young. Terrell has time. Steps outside the pocket, throws a pick. This one's going to be returned for a touchdown for our defense. Randall Glenn. Great play to go up and get it and bring it back for a quick Bobcat touchdown. We are on the way to another dominant Sun Belt victory here in conference play. So pressure came off the right edge, and Terrell kind of ran into it. Forced a bad throw. Glenn takes advantage. Under a minute to play here in the first half, and the Eagles are once again driving. Again, last time they missed a field goal. That was about a 35-yard attempt or so. And now trying to get points on the board prior to halftime. They got 1 timeout left to use. Terrell is taken down in the pockets by Tevin Hippenhammer. Already a tackle for loss on the ground. Now a sack. We bring a blitz, and it's another interception thrown by Del Terrell. This time it's Timmy Oki. Thrown right to him. Good zone coverage. And this game is pretty much already over. All right, 1st and 10 from the 13-yard line. First drive of the half for the offense starts with a screen to LJ Young. I think given how dominant we have been this game and how things have kind of gone since the middle part of last year, I think I'm leaning towards maybe just making a larger, all-encompassing episode as Breda hits the big one to LJ Young deep into Eagles territory. A great throw and catch. But as I was saying, I think I'm leaning towards doing maybe part 1, part 2 starting in our next season for year 6, and just kind of having 2 big episodes to complete the regular season, and then just kind of maybe going game by game if we reach the college football playoff, and then maybe wrapping up the series in year 7, year 8 perhaps, if things kind of get stale. Because I think right now I'm leaning towards the 2K series where, you know, things are not quite as good as we got going on here in this series, but they are close. But that is a more popular series, and I think I'm having more fun doing that one than this one currently, even though we're having pretty good success in this series. But I still want to get a couple more years done, but this might be a different format. We'll see how that goes. There's another touchdown pass for Breda. It's the first of the game for Trayon Bell. And we are absolutely destroying Georgia Southern here at home. Bobcats dominate by a score of 35-3. They finally got points on the board there in the fourth quarter, but another dominant conference victory. 4 touchdown throws for Stephen Breda, 253 passing yards, and we move to 4-1 through the first 6 weeks. The defense continues to impress while the offense came out swinging, and the Eagles really never had a chance after those second quarter turnovers. Brady goes 22 for 26, no turnovers here in this game. A very clean performance by him, no complaints. On the ground, Newcomb, a 9.1 average, but only got 7 carries. Again, I want to see more of those. The ground game was definitely quiet until we ran the ball on every down in the fourth quarter, essentially. Receiving-wise, big game out of LJ Young Jr., so he, Trayon Bell, and Kel Harper now have all had some breakout performances this season. Offensive line gave up a couple of sacks. Both were, I believe, the first 2 of the year from Frank Bad News. Meanwhile, this defense continues their incredible start to the year. 3 sacks here in this one by 3 different players. A pick 6 by Randall Glenn, and a pick as well from Timmy Oki. And our kicker is still perfect on the year. Only 5 extra points taken here in this game. And we also held their running backs to probably like 2.7, 2.8 per carry in total. And only 3 points allowed. Pretty darn impressive. And we have added some more 4-star recruits to our class. Casey Hadel out of Starkville ends up picking us over his hometown team of Mississippi State. He is the only commit this week, but we do get to first place on Damon Garba to the right guard. And this right here could be a problem for us in the future. This right here, the XP. I just realized that the max level, I believe, is level 50. Evident by the max on the right side of the progress bar. And I don't think we can earn any more coaching points because of that. I think you only get those by going up a level, which means that I'm not sure if we can actually max out our coaching skill tree, because we've already used all the points that we were kind of saving up, and I don't know if you get any more if you don't go up a level, which means that the ones that are still locked, which could be useful in the future, I don't know if we can actually even spend any points on those, because we have maxed out Motivator, we've maxed out Tactician, we've maxed out Recruiter, all these only in the first level. So I'm not entirely sure other ways in which we could acquire more coaching points. I hope that we can, but if we can, then I'm not really sure how they expect you to kind of wait this long to not spend accrued points. We'll see if that actually is true down the line. Maybe if you meet some coaching goals, then you can get more points. But it looks like you only really get experience, at least for the draft goals. So, they probably can't. Or maybe it's just a certain amount of experience gets you skill points. We'll just have to find out, I guess. But now we face South Carolina, who is 1-4 entering this game. This program has completely fallen off of the map. They were ranked to start the year, and we are not ranked after ending last year in the top 20, despite starting 4-1 and dominating in every win of ours so far this year. We have yet to get the nod into the top 25 rankings. The Gamecocks lost their opener by 3 against a top 5 opponent, and their only win has been against an FCS school. But they have really struggled, especially offensively. They put up 35 against Carolina, but then since that FCS game, only 6 against Texas A&M, 24 in a 4-point loss against Kentucky, and 17 against Alabama. They've had a couple of really close games against ranked teams, but have yet to really get a win over an FBS opponent, which is pretty bad. Hopefully it's not going to come against us. And this will, of course, be a test against an SEC school, but they're only 3 out of 5 stars. They're probably the worst team in the entire conference. They're currently ranked 16th because they've lost all 3 of their conference games coming in. Dante Reno is their quarterback. I'm curious how he's played. He's got 5 physical abilities. He is a redshirt senior, which means that it's his last year. And so far this year, he has thrown 12 touchdowns, 4 INTs. That's not bad, but their offense has been the weakest link, but it seems like turnovers aren't really their problem. A ground game is not really too established. No real true number 1 running back player in this depth chart. At wide receiver, you have a couple of big play players in Tavita Aitui. You've got Dwayne Sermons and Gordon Stepanovich, all 3 of whom have 94 or more speed. And then you got Devin Sermon. So the Sermons twins, I think, are 2 of their top 3 receivers. At tight ends, you've got an 84 speed guy in JT Aldridge. This offensive line is good except at center. I wonder if they're playing one of their guards there instead, because they have some depth at both of those spots. But defensively, Wendell Gregory, 85 speed. This team definitely should not be 1-4. I'm trying not to think that we're about to get upset here, but this roster is really not that bad. I mean, this is not a 1-4 roster at all. They have a couple of standout defensive players, which the Eagles in our last game did not, obviously. 92 speed here on Brad Alford. Johnny Dirth has 92 man coverage. They're probably a man coverage team. They have a good safety on Ronald Batamosi. I'm really not sure how this team has only won 1 game and 0 against FBS schools. But I guess we'll find out here in week 7, taking on the 1-4 Gamecocks. It's still a packed house despite their rough start to the year. We come in with the 3rd most votes in top 25 polls. So we have a chance, if we win this game, make a big statement here against an SEC school, to reach the top 25 at the halfway points of the season. Williams-Brice Stadium welcomes you to this SEC-SBC matchup. Here we go. The Bobcats will start with the football as kickoff is underway. On the return, Enrique Chirador brings it up to the 19-yard line. Now we're going to see what this offense can do on their opening drive against a really good defense on paper, but what has likely been a bad defense on the fields. Blackout uniform day for the Bobcats here on the road. Starts with the run. Gain of 3 for Kiki Newcomb, who again only had 7 carries in that last game against Georgia Southern. We gave 7 to Josh Ringer. And now Breda's got time to throw, and the pass is complete to L.J. Young Jr. for a first down. Now, next play, Breda rolls out and fires it incomplete to Reggie Reese, who was very tightly covered. 4-man rush, picked up well, but the pass is knocked away from Reese again. Now 3rd and long. Trips top of the screen for the Bobcats. They only bring 4. Good protection, and the pass is hauled in eventually. The second for L.J. Young Jr. Empty look for Breda. Clean pocket again and completes. Reggie Reese with our 3rd first down. Now in Gamecock territory, Breda is pressured and hit as he threw it. The first time they have broken through this offensive line. Now we go empty on 2nd down and 10. Motion for Bell. Breda launches, and it's caught at the sideline by the running back, Kiki Newcomb. In the backfield, it's Reggie Reese into pass block, and Breda will bail from the pockets. That scramble gives us 4 yards. In the red zone are the Bobcats on this opening drive. Breda dumps it. It's caught in traffic. And now it's 3rd down and 2. We're showing a run here. I formation for Houma. Ringer the back. He will make a nice move to convert. And it's 1st and goal for Houma, knocking on the door. Just a handful of yards away. We fake it to Newcomb. Breda has room to run, and he will waltz in the end zone untouched. Another fantastic opening drive. And now we're going to see our defense against an SEC offense. And they start with a really good play. It's a loss of 1 for their primary tailback. From the 17, they will flip a touch pass, and it's going to be a solid gain of 9 up to the 26-yard line. That sets up 3rd and 2, but how about a 12-play, 80-yard drive by the Bobcats to open up this game? Just hope that we can do that for most of this contest, if not all of it, and once again show how dominant we can be on both sides of the football. Nick Holiday so far, 2 runs, 0 yards. Had 1 for a loss of 1, 1 for a gain of 1. Now on his 3rd, breaks through a gap and picks up 9. 3rd and short, and it's a quick throw caught in the flats for a first down conversion across midfield here on their opening drive are the Gamecocks. They're going to hand it off, and a broken tackle stumbling forward. And that is a 6-yard gain for Holiday's backup. 5-man rush, and the pass is hauled in. Good curl route there, up the numbers. And now from the right hash, 1st and 10, South Carolina. Holiday bursting upfield, picks up 5. Pass now swung out to Holiday, and he is tackled by Lehan. Inches short of the marker. Another 3rd down coming up. Can our defense perhaps force a field goal attempt here? The pass is caught wide open. That's one of the Sermons twins with that catch. In the red zone now, sweeping right, and it's covered well by DeMarvin Hollins. Less than 3 yards a carry in his first 5 for Nick Holiday. They're going to give it right back to him. Same play call, it looks like, and this time it's going to work. Inside the 5 they go. From the 5, and a check down inside the 2. Pass is complete. First quarter comes to an end. Houma leading, but Gamecocks driving. Second and goal to open the second quarter. And the Gamecocks will hand it off, and they will find the end zone. A touchdown for Speed. His last name is literally Speed. The Gamecocks have tied this game. A lengthy opening drive sees 8 minutes come off the clock. But 2 drives, 2 touchdowns here in the first quarter and change. The offense comes out empty to open their second possession, and the pass is caught by Trayon Bell for a 6-yard pickup. At a very impressive, methodical, clinical opening drive. Can we do it again? That run play is going to lose 2 yards. Blocked poorly by Frank Bad News and Paul Phoenix. And now 3rd and 6. Pressure's picked up well, and Young has it for a first down catch again, his 3rd already in this first half. At 2 there on the opening drive, has his first of this drive here. And now this pass is floated up top and broken up. Trying to find Trayon Bell down the sideline for a big play. Fake the handoff on 2nd and 10, and Bell comes over the middle to bring up 3rd and 2. Gamecocks have 6 on this defensive front. Pressure's picked up very well. Breda's got time, and a man open downfield. Reggie Reese with a big first down conversion inside the 35. They bring 4. Breda under duress and sacked for a loss of 8. Emmanuel Dugans with that big play. And now 3rd and long, now out of field goal range for George Lincoln. Need about 7 yards to get us closer. Breda hit as he threw it, and it's incomplete. And we have to punt. That was a drive-ending sack, and now the Gamecocks have it, a chance to take their first lead, and it's a big play to open things up. And that is their running back, Nick Holiday, on the halfback wheel. He was wide open. Now they come out I formation here on 1st and 10. They're going to flip the play. Holiday now in the backfield. And they're going to fake it his way, and pressure gets home immediately. Randall Glenn comes off the edge. And Reno never had a chance. Loss of 9. And now a delayed handoff will lose even more. 3rd and 22. 2 defenders made that play. They got to get off the field here. Pressure picked up well, and Reno's pass is caught wide open. Huge gain. Up to the Bobcats' 30-yard line. That's their starting tight end. And the drive continues despite a 3rd and 22 down. Can't believe that. This pass is caught by Holiday. And so far, our defense is not really playing like we are used to. Have a bit of upper echelon opponent here in a SEC school that has not been very good. Looking for their first FBS victory on the year. And so far, their offense is looking pretty darn good. Our defensive line is not really breaking through that often here. Their offensive line is really holding up. But it's 4th and short. The offense stays on. Ben Speed, the tailback. He'll get the handoff and the conversion. And he hits the gap and takes off for a 20-yard touchdown run. And South Carolina takes the lead for the first time. Well, how can the offense respond? 5:04 left to go in the half, and Breda is in trouble again. The second sack for the Gamecocks. This time it's Reyes. Unblocked right up the middle. And this time we lose 10 yards. Could this be another drive-ending sack? It's checked down underneath to Cal Harper. He picks up 6. Third down. We need 14 yards to convert. And Breda is going backwards again. Gamecocks come out with fantastic starting field position here on this drive inside the Houma 40 already. And now a mid-screen setting up, and Sermons is up to the 31-yard line. Definitely our biggest test of the year since that game against Oregon, where they came out hot. We came out hot here, but the Gamecocks have responded and now look to hopefully, or no, not hopefully, they look for them hopefully to take a 2-score lead approaching halftime. 3rd and 5, and the pass is caught. Sermons is left wide open over the middle. And we come out of the warning with only 25 yards between them and the end zone. Reno, wide open. He finds the other Sermons twin. And it's 1st and goal at the 7. Under 90 seconds left to go now in the half. And the other twin comes back in and has the touchdown. This defense is having their toughest test of the season. We need some pressure on their quarterback and better downfield coverage. This offensive line needs to give Breda time to throw, but pressure comes from all angles, and the ball is scooped up. And the Gamecocks, I believe, will have it at the 5-yard line with 1st and goal coming up. A first play turnover. Breda got sandwiched. The entire offensive line, it seemed, gave up pressure on the first play of the drive. He never had a chance. That ball is definitely out. And South Carolina can lead by 3 touchdowns, perhaps, at the halftime. Reno with time to throw, but pressure finally breaks through. It's John Decker the 4th. That is a big loss of 13 yards. That will hopefully give this defense just a little bit of breathing room because they have been on the field quite a lot ever since our opening drive of the ball game. This pass is incomplete. Trying to find Sermons again. And now 3rd and goal from the 18-yard line for the Gamecocks. Reno fires a touchdown! Come on! Our defense looks bad right now. Not at all like they have looked in conference play or really any other game besides that game against Oregon earlier this year back in week 2. This is a shocking performance. Tavita Aitui with that just go route straight for the end zone. He beats Timioki. We go to halftime here at Williams-Brice Stadium, and the Gamecocks are in complete control. 13 first-half first down, 6.4 average yards per play, and their passing game has completely torn up our secondary, and this offensive line has done a great job both in run blocking and especially in pass protection. We could not get to Reno. Opening drive for the offense here in this 3rd quarter. We have to get points on the board. We start with a play fake, and Breda is pressured as he threw it. That was allowed by our left tackle, Reggie Cole. We go empty. Screen setting up, and we pick up about 8 yards. Good play for Hasty. But now a 3rd and 2. We have barely ran the ball, and now trailing by this much, I doubt that we try it a whole lot here in the second half. We might, though, here on 3rd down. And we will, and they will convert. Enrique Cherador in the backfield with the carry. He will stay as the tailback here on 1st and 10. Interesting idea here. We'll give it to him again, and he picks up only 3. Screen setting up, but it's not blocked well at all. 3rd down and 4. Offensive line having a tough time blocking downfield, it seems. Rada fires, it's floated and intercepted. And I think he had Trayon Bell open, but he just underthrew this one. Trying to float it and did not get enough air underneath it. And a costly mistake, which was coming off the heels of a solid drive, but Johnny Dirth, their number 2 corner, makes the play. Just a flat-footed throw. And the Gamecocks have it again. Another just disappointing game by the offense against a better program. I wouldn't say a better team, but a better program. We saw it against Oregon. Same deal here, but the defense definitely has played way worse than against Oregon, I think. They only allowed, I think, 20 points in that game. They've already allowed 28 here. Now they have it with 3rd and 1. Holiday converts easily, breaks a tackle inside the Houma 45. They'll fake it to Holiday and White right up the seam. They will get the 1st down. Man, their tight end has been tearing us up. They've had all 3 receivers have huge plays already in this game. They've had Holiday out wide a couple of times. And our secondary, this entire defensive unit, has just been really quiet all day long as they give up a 5-yard completion here. Another 3rd down. I'm not really feeling too confident here. Either way, it's going to be points on the board for the Gamecocks unless they turn the ball over, which they will not. In fact, they score the 2nd for Aitui. And we're getting absolutely bludgeoned here on the road. I was not expecting this coming in. I'm just kind of stunned right now. 28 second quarter points for the Gamecocks and 38 unanswered after we scored on the opening drive of the ball game and led 7-0 and then could not score the rest of the contest. This is a huge wake-up call. I have no idea what just happened here. We just got absolutely embarrassed. They beat us in every team stat category that actually matters. That is just... How do you respond to that after beating most teams by 3 or more scores on the season? 26 for 32 for Dante Reno, 3 touchdowns, a yard short of 300 passing yards. Nick Holiday, 4.5 on the ground, runs for a $110. Ben Speed, 2 rushing touchdowns. 3 players with 60 yards or more through the air. Only sacked Reno a couple of times, most of which came later in the game when the game was already over. And we allowed like 5 total sacks. Threw a costly pick on a good-looking drive. Yeah, I'm not really sure what to say about this. Just got beaten pretty much every way possible. Breda's worst game since even his 3-pick game from last year. I mean, this was just bad. This actually maybe is slightly better than his game against Oregon, but he still threw a couple of touchdown throws in that game. Not the case here in this one. We ran the ball okay, but when you go down by that much that early, you can't really afford to hand the ball off too many times after you go down by that much. And I think we have some questions arising out of this performance. 38 unanswered. Cannot believe that. But we will leave it right here. We'll focus on more recruiting to start next episode. But that was one of our worst losses of the dynasty to this point. Kind of harkens back to years 1 and 2 and how we closed those years, just getting completely destroyed on both ends of the gridiron. That was a really, really bad performance. And we'll look to move on from that and re-enter conference play for the rest of the season and hopefully close the year strong. That was not a conference game, obviously, so we're still 2-0 in conference play. Still first place in the conference, I believe, once we enter our next game. But Gamecocks get their first win against the FBS school this season, and we have to really think about how we're going to respond to that loss. I will leave it there. Please like the video, subscribe, leave your feedback down below on what you thought of these two very different games that we just played here in this episode, folks. And I'll see y'all as we approach the second half of the year as we enter 4-2. Thanks for watching as always. Have a great day and peace out.